Once, a wealthy man passed away without any heirs to inherit his vast fortune. In his will, he arranged for each of his servants to choose one item from his estate as a farewell gift. Some opted for luxurious possessions like cars and expensive furniture. However, one servant chose a simple portrait of the rich man's deceased son, who had passed away during childhood. While holding the portrait, the servant noticed an envelope hidden behind it. Curious, they opened it and discovered important documents. Upon presenting the documents to the rich man's lawyer, it was revealed that the entire estate and wealth of the deceased man would be bestowed upon the servant who had chosen the portrait of his beloved son. This act signified the servant's love and reverence for the child. The rich man's deep affection for his deceased son led him to leave everything he owned to the person who displayed a similar love for the boy by choosing his portrait above all other valuable possessions.
Jesus said, "Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them." John 14, verse 21.
A young couple watched their neighbor bringing in a new big flat TV into their house. The wife said,
"Honey, you have the same job in government as our neighbor. Why couldn't we have that kind of TV too? What a shame."
The next day, the husband handed his wife the money to purchase her desired TV. The next month, their neighbor had a new car. The wife again prodded her husband to buy a much better car. And again, after a week, the husband brought in a new car. Whatever their neighbor buys, the wife pushes her husband to buy a better one. Until one day, police officers came and arrested their neighbor for graft and corruption case. The wife said,
"Ha! I knew it. What a social climber."
The next day, policemen came to arrest her husband too. They said he had the same case as their neighbor.
For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. James 3, verse 16.
A young man was walking along the road when he saw a snake. The snake spoke.
"I feel lonely and tired. Please put me under your shirt and take me to your home."
"No, I have been warned about snakes,"
said the youth.
"No way. I will treat you differently. If you do me this favor, you will be special. I will not harm you,"
said the snake. The youth resisted for a while, but he started to agree with the snake that maybe he is special. So he picked up the snake, tucked it under his shirt and head for home. But suddenly it coiled, sprang, and bit the boy on the leg.
"But you promised,"
he cried.
"You knew what I was when you picked me up,"
answered the snake as he slithered away. Don't trust people who might trick you, even if they promise they won't. Always be careful and think before you trust someone. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. Proverbs 14, verse 15.
A lady went to the pharmacy and asked the owner if they have a poison to sell. The owner asked her,
"Why do you want one?"
She replied,
"I lived with my mother-in-law, and she is very mean to me. At first, I just snubbed her, but she always despises me and talks badly about me to other people. I couldn't stand it any longer. I want to poison her."
The owner replied,
"Well, I have this white powdery thing that you can mix with food, but I have advice. Put only a very little bit once in a while, or else your mother-in-law would die immediately and you will be suspected and be put in prison. It will take months, but at least you will be safe. To make you safer much, be kind to her all the time, be obedient and take care of her always, no matter the harsh words you receive from her. In that way, you will be above suspicion when something happens to your mother-in-law."
The lady was impressed and did exactly what the owner advised. After a few days of being good, she noticed that her mother-in-law began to speak in a normal tone to her. After a few days, she cracks a few jokes at her, and they began to converse on a lot of topics, and eventually, she could overhear her mother-in-law praising her in front of other people, telling them how lucky she was to have a daughter-in-law like her. Upon learning this, she immediately went back to the pharmacy and asked the owner if he has an antidote to the poison she bought a few weeks earlier. She said,
I love her now. She is so good to me.
The owner replied,
Don't worry. That was no poison I sold. It was vitamins and food supplements for the elderly.
The story illustrates that patience, kindness, and forgiveness can transform even the most strained relationships. It teaches us that instead of seeking revenge, extending love and understanding can lead to reconciliation and harmony. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12 verse 20 and 21.
A young single mother had 2 kids, a girl and a boy. Very early one morning, the 2 children decided to run away from home. The mother, upon realizing her children had gone, immediately went up to look for them. She looked everywhere, in every street and every corner, as fast as she could. The kids looked for work, but nobody would hire them. They then begged for food, but nobody would give them any. When afternoon was late, they decided to return back home. From a distance, they saw a lot of people gathering in their house. They asked their neighbor what happened. Their neighbor replied,
Your mother went everywhere to look for both of you. On the road, a truck hit her and she died on the spot. She is now being placed in your house for the funeral tonight. Your mother died looking for you.
For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Luke 19 verse 10 and Mark 10 verse 45.